Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday. I'm Christina Schaefer, Social Media Manager for HAR. I'm joined this morning by Nicole Lopez. Nicole, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. So Nicole is on this morning to tell us about millennials and home buying, the truth behind that. Are millennials buying homes? We're also going to talk a little bit about Gen Z, the generation that nobody wants to talk about, it seems like.
Yep.
So we've got a lot to share this morning. So if you're watching this, make sure you like the post. Make sure you go ahead and share it with your audience, because I'm sure more people want to hear about this than just those of you that are watching at the moment. So before we get into all of the data you have for us, and you do have data written down.
Too much data.
Yes. If you could just introduce yourself to our members, why you're here, what you do, all of that.
Awesome. So my name is Nicole Lopez. I am the team leader for the PR group. I've been in real estate for about a decade, and I am a millennial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. And you're also very involved with HAR.
Yes. It's really become a passion of mine to just kind of have a voice for our industry and what it is that we do. I currently serve on technology, MLS, TreePack, and YPN advisory boards, and I am also a TreePack trustee. So right now is a great time for you guys to start thinking about getting involved or what advisory boards you might want to be on. And if you would like to serve, you can always reach out to me, or you can go online to har.com/get involved.
Yeah.
And
thank you for promoting that for us. That's really helpful. Why do you think that's so important, though, for people to get involved? Like, why did you get involved?
Well, I became involved, number one, with the award, the 20 Under 40 award that HAR puts on. And so that was really my introduction into what all HAR had to offer, because at that point in time in my career, I was in Northeast Houston, and I didn't know that there was as much offered at HAR as there is. And so getting involved has really been awesome. Then I started getting into TreePack and became a major investor with TreePack, because I really loved seeing the changes that were being made within our industry and how much power we have as realtors in our community. And so started with that, and then this year became involved with technology, working with Danny and Taki has been awesome, and then MLS as well with Sean. So it's been a very fun ride, but I am very pumped by it. And also, I think for our clients and our customers, it's very important for them to know that you're involved within the industry and you're not just there to collect a paycheck, but you're also really thoughtful in the industry.
Does that make a difference with your clients? Do you see that?
Yes, it definitely makes a difference for our clients. And they like knowing that you stand behind them, not just on the transaction side, but as an advocate for home ownership for them.
Very good, which is what we're talking about today,
Yeah.
right? Home ownership. So let's just really quickly define, what is a millennial?
So millennials are not 16-year-olds. The millennial age range is 23 to 38. So I myself, I fall into what some like to call the older millennials. We are older millennials.
That's me too, yes.
But they are a very powerful demographic in terms of consumer spending. And so, but yeah, 23 to 38.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and we've heard a lot of generalizations also about millennials and they're not buying homes. But it seems like, from what we've heard, though, in recent numbers, it seems like they are the largest home buying demographic right now, correct?
They are. Right now, they're sitting at 36% of the home buying demographic that's currently purchasing, but that's also 36% in total overall ownership. So when you think about generations like baby boomers and the silent generation and Gen X, they actually have the lowest rate of home ownership at that 36%. Yes.
Okay.
So when we're looking at boomers, they're sitting at 60 to 70% in overall home ownership versus the 36% that we possess. Now, we're the largest moving into the market, but there are some staggering cost, restrictions to the millennial generation, in particular the older millennials that's kind of keeping us from moving forward with home ownership. So one of
So I want you to break down those numbers for us, because you did on your personal Facebook page, you did a Facebook Live of several weeks ago, and you broke all of this down, and I just thought it was so interesting, and that's what I really think our members will find interesting too. So give us some of these numbers, the comparison. So you compared data from 1979,
correct,
to
2019.
To 2019. So tell us about that.
So when you look at, and you can pull up the real reason, the average income for family of 4 today in Texas, dual income, is right over $70,000. Now, I have numbers from 1979 as well, and I'll kind of flip back and forth. When we're looking at 1979, it was $52,338 for a family of 4. But when you think about it, it's not just the overall rise in home ownership, but there's some other cost factors that go into that. When you think about child care, today the average family, and I know when my daughter was in child care, I spent far more than this in child care.
I have a daughter in daycare right now, so yes.
You know exactly how much you spend. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is for 1 infant, 1 toddler. Child care today, roughly $13,968. Back in 1979, that number was roughly $5,400. So you can see the increase there. When you look at health care, now again, these are averages. I personally pay way more than this. Healthcare, family of 4, $6,000 a year for today, 2019. When you go back to 1979, do you want to guess what that number was for healthcare in 1979 for a family of 4 for the entire year?
I can peek, and I'm trying not to. I don't know. I'm just going to say $3,000.
$812.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Now, what about student loans? What do you think the average dual income family spends per year in student loans?
Gosh, I don't know. Maybe
today.
$10,000?
Very, very. Actually, that's right on the money.
Oh, really?
$9,432. Do you want to guesstimate what they spent back in 1979?
$1,000.
Actually, you are still right
Oh
on
my
the money.
gosh.
You are so good at this. I love this guessing game with you. So yes, and we can go through transportation and food and credit cards.
Yeah.
But another staggering one is housing. So 1979 dual income family, and this is for the average home in the inside city of Houston, or what was reported in 1979 for Houston. Average family spent just under $10,000 a year in their housing cost. Today, they are spending $25,911, and that's for the average price home. So when we look at these numbers, right, we're comparing apples to apples, averages to averages. Now, that's not saying that today the average person making the average salary can afford the average home in Houston, because they cannot, right? So when you look at these numbers and averages, you see that the ability to save, the ability to have additional funds for vacations, for a family of 4 with 2 kids making average money, buying the average home, they're actually at a deficit of $6,191 per year. Versus in 1979, same numbers, same averages, average home, average car, and we're not talking about, when I add in transportation, we're not talking about the newest and latest, greatest Tesla, which I would like to have. But we're talking about a Toyota Corolla, like a very average mid-sized family, like
practical.
Sedan. Practical vehicle, especially if you're a commuter. In 1979, the average family had a surplus of $20,000 per year that could go into savings, that could go into buying their next home, that could go into taking their family to Disney World. And so you think about how our generation wants to live today very similarly to how our parents' generation lived, and it just doesn't make sense. It just can't continue. It can't happen. And so housing is one thing, and I really have become interested in finding ways of or working with those who are advocates for affordable housing.
Yeah. So that's kind of want everybody to hear this data because it's very important to hear,
Right.
and not many people know about it.
Yeah.
But also, what can realtors do about it? So you're saying working with like affordable housing.
Yeah, absolutely. So becoming really well versed in affordable loan programs.
Okay.
Becoming really well versed in knowing what builders offer affordable housing options, because there's still builders that are not necessarily inside City of Houston, but within our Houston metro, that are building new construction at $160,000. So there's still affordable new construction options, and also being advocates in the community for understanding the things that are plaguing, especially the older millennial generation, and understanding too that when they entered the workforce, Christina, they entered during the Great Recession. They entered during the 2008 to 2013 period. I graduated high school in 2004, got into the workforce in 2008, and that was a really tough time to try to find a job. And so you'll see during our age range in specific that a lot of us are not actively practicing or working in the fields that we obtained degrees in because it just wasn't feasible for us then. But back to what we as realtors can do: become knowledgeable in affordable loan programs, understand what areas have affordable housing, working with your local legislators, being involved in Tree Pack, to really help advocate for things that are going to help these builders and newer communities really build more affordably. But yeah, so I'm actually meeting with some folks at NAR next week in San Francisco to talk about what we can do on a national platform to help make people more aware of the fact that these numbers don't make sense. And if we're going to help advocate for home ownership, we need to understand where the deficits are.
Yeah.
So,
that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. So if you have any questions for Nicole about any of these numbers or anything that we're discussing, go ahead and type them into the comments, and we'll get to those in just a little bit. Just a couple people telling you great data. Samantha said, preach.
Yes.
So yeah, if you have any questions for her, just type them in. So one thing that you mentioned, the affordable housing programs, you said the average income is about $70,000. Would somebody that is in that average income range qualify for some of these affordable housing programs?
Absolutely. So, I mean, all of it's going to, obviously you want to work with a great lender, and you want to make sure that you're getting pre-qualified before you go, because especially when you have this type of student loan debt, you want to make sure that you your DTI, your ratios are right in line with where they should be. But as long as everything does look good, you can absolutely qualify for some of these more affordable homes. So $160,000, you're probably looking at payments around $1,300. And some of these newer communities, if you get out there and you search, some of them are USDA qualified. So some of them are actually zero down. Some of them you can get in with your earnest money of $500 to $1,000. Some of them are offering closing costs being paid. So yes.
Which is probably one of the scariest things for home buyers, because that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so there are options out there.
Yeah.
You just, you've got to partner with somebody who knows the market, knows the communities, and can really help push those programs and those
then
options
also,
out there.
if you're working with a younger millennial, or maybe it's an older millennial who's just been renting this whole time, there's also first-time homebuyer programs too.
Yes, absolutely. So you want to look into TSHAC and MCC, and there's so many programs that are out there. And still, there's Harris County Down Payment Assistance Program, which you're going to have to work hand and tooth for, and you may have to give up your firstborn to qualify for. And we laugh because we know it's true. But there's still options out there.
Very good.
Absolutely.
So Rochelle said that TransUnion is currently projecting at least 8.3 million first-time homebuyers will enter the market between 2020 and 2022.
Yeah, so, and I think that's awesome, and I think that's because a lot of those older millennials are finally getting to a point in which they're financially able to purchase, because the average statistic right now for someone out of college to pay off their student loan debt is 12 years. And that's assuming you didn't go to UT and got $80,000 in student loan debt. Hook 'em horns.
There you go. Yeah. Shelly asked, where are the builders that are starting at 160?
Yeah, so North Park Woods in the northeast area, just north of Kingwood, right off of Sorters Road. Century Communities is over there starting at 160, and KB Homes is out there as well. I think they start slightly higher, but definitely affordable price points. And for you realtors that are watching, they are USDA, so they are zero down, and they have a really cute product. It looks kind of bungalow-ish. So.
That's good. Rochelle made another comment. She said Harris County is launching a new program in 2020 as part of their Hurricane Harvey disaster program, so we should be on the lookout for that.
Awesome.
And I'm sure we can find information about that on their website. Samantha asked, how do we stop the renting cycle?
I mean, honestly, I feel like to stop the renting cycle, it's really just going to be about education. And it's really going to be about working with your consumers to set up a plan to save. It's not about finding your consumers when they're ready to purchase. It's about being an advocate and an educator before they're ready to purchase, and help them make smart financial decisions. Because really, as realtors, we are trusted advisors for our clientele base, and setting them up for success is really the best thing that we can do.
Yeah, very good. So let's talk Gen Z.
Awesome.
Okay. So we defined millennial earlier.
Yep.
What is Gen Z?
So Gen Z is below 23, so
Okay.
22 and below, and they are going to be an emerging buyer demographic, and I do really feel like they are going to be a stronger consumer base in terms of their thoughts and ideas towards home ownership. They're coming out of college right now in a much better job market. Their wages coming out of college are significantly higher than our wages coming out of college. They have a much better perspective in terms of what home ownership is, what long-term wealth looks like. And I think that's in part because, 10 years ago during the housing recession or the Great Recession, we did a much better job of educating our children in things like, what is a FICO score? How do you save? What does savings plans look like? What is an IRA? What is a 401k? And so I think that they're coming out of college a little bit more educated and savvy financially than what we came out of college with. And yes, they are going to have some of those millennial tendencies. They're still going to eat their avocado toast. But I think they are going to be a little bit more financially savvy, and I do foresee them having a higher projected home ownership rate, whereas with our millennial demographic, it's been said that they don't see us ever reaching over 50% even later in life.
Wow.
Yeah, which is staggering.
Yeah.
So it goes into really just education and helping set them up for the future.
Very good.
Yeah.
So do you have anything else you want to share with us about the data that you've come across?
Yeah, so one interesting fact that has really plagued, I think, home ownership is really over the course of generations, right? You always thought about going to school, getting married, buying a house, having children, right? That's really been the natural progression in it. And that's sort of shifting a little bit. What we're seeing today, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a girl power moment for a minute, but we're actually seeing females graduate college at a much higher rate than men. So right now, 43% of women are graduating college with a degree versus 36% of men. And so you think about generationally what women have done, right? They always look, and this isn't to say that we always look to marry up, but I think some of the reason why we're not seeing marriage rates happening so early on is we're starting to have women become more educated. And when they go out to look for a suitable partner, there's fewer choices in the dating pool. The male generation, actually, their numbers are falling, and their college degree numbers are falling as well with that. And so we have a lot of single women that are out in the market right now that are buying homes themselves. But we're seeing those numbers in terms of marriages start to wean off. And so we're seeing families start to happen later in life. So right now, average age for having children now for females is 28 and for men 33. Whereas decades ago, it was significantly younger. We saw women having children at between 21 and 23. So we're seeing about a 10-year gap there. So it's going to happen for us. It's just going to happen later in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, though, that you think, or that the numbers suggest that we won't ever really get over 50% of home ownership, though. So what do you think that means long-term for realtors?
I think that our generation is maybe going to struggle a little bit. We see in Gen Z that 86% of Gen Z do want homeownership. So I feel like those numbers are going to start to turn. I think that we just need to do a really good job of educating. As realtors, I think we need to become really aware of affordable housing programs. I think we need to spend time understanding the millennial generation and not just thinking that, you know, we all want to have coffee bars in the office and like love sack chairs and, you know, all those things that they have at like the Facebook office. HAR, I'm talking to you guys. Some love sacks around here would be great. But I think really taking a more broad understanding instead of painting over everything with a very broad paintbrush, understanding that there's different facets and there's different obstacles and challenges. And I think, you know, familiarizing yourself with rentals is going to be huge right now, especially since our generation really does want to live closer to amenities, closer to the city. And interestingly enough, Gen Z, they want amenities in the suburbs. So really interesting, how that's going to shift in the future. Yeah.
Well, very good. So I don't see any other questions coming in. Veronica just said great content, Nicole. Thank you. Do you have anything else you want to share?
Yes. So like I spoke about before, there's a multitude of opportunity at HAR to become involved. And I really recommend that you check out the website, har.com/get-involved. Sign up for some advisory boards, see how you can make a difference, because that's really how I got started on this. I wanted to make a difference, and I'm able to come here today and share it with the HAR membership, and it really will make a difference, and you can make a difference as well.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this. And I didn't get you a participation award for today.
Oh,
man. I'm so sorry. You're going to have to go and blog about it after this.
I am. In a coffee shop.
In a coffee shop.
Yes.
Drinking your iced latte.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, that is it for this Member Focus Monday. Be sure to tune back in next week. We are going to be recapping the election that's taking place tomorrow, so make sure you all go out and vote tomorrow. And we are going to be talking about programs for veterans since next Monday is Veterans Day. So be sure to tune in next Monday at 9 a.m. Have a great week. Bye-bye.